I would like to apologize in advance for what I'm about to say because frankly, it just saves bloody time later. Because in Obama's America, or it seems Obama's Canada, we're all racist now and need to have an apology. A little handy contrition card in our inside pocket, just in case. Brian Farnan, a student at McGill University, once a world-renowned centre for free speech and dissent, has been forced to apologize for emailing a picture of President Barack Obama, peace be upon him, kicking open a door in frustration after a press conference. It's not genuine, of course, but it's fun and it's quite clever. Have a look.
I think it will actually yield results before the end of the year, and I look forward to continuing this dialogue in the months ahead. Thank you very much, everybody.
Good day.
In the months ahead. Thank you very much, everybody.
But here's the issue, and what a huge and massive and worse than the Holocaust issue it is. Some of the idiots who received the email thought it was racist. OK, comrades, so you thought it was racist. Thanks for sharing. You're a moron. Shut up. I don't care. But no, we apparently no longer live in a mature free society where toleration of other people's points of view is considered sacrosanct. Another student issued a formal complaint for what is now described, listen to this, as a microaggression. It's a new term in PC language based on critical race theory and used by students on campus from ethnic minority groups if they feel in any way slighted or just having a bad day, really. Down at the University of Michigan, some of the leftist thugs have defined, quote, having your opinion second-guessed in a group assignment as a microaggression. I'm not joking here. But in this case, it gets even more absurd and more surreal. This little clip was actually first aired, you may have seen it, on The Tonight Show, then hosted by the late Jay Leno. It wasn't about race at all. If anything, it was in support of Barack Obama. The point was that he was sick and tired of press conferences where reporters asked the same dumb questions. Now, the student at McGill, Farnan, who's vice president of the student government, had put a caption by the clip, and it was, honestly, midterms, get out of here. In other words, it was an email about being frustrated with exams, sick and tired of studying the usual student moaning rubbish. But utterly, totally, completely passive, harmless, innocuous. But Farnan was forced to say he was sorry. He was obliged to write that because of the, quote, cultural, historical and living legacy surrounding people of colour, particularly young men, being portrayed as violent. The clip was racist. He continued, despite the innocent intentions influencing my decision to use this particular image, I have come to recognize the negative implications of adding the image within this context. By using this particular image of President Obama, I unknowingly perpetuated this living legacy and subsequently allowed a medium of student society of McGill University communication to become the blah, 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 blah. I'm deeply sorry. It's a little like those poor buggers in the Soviet Union under Stalin and his successors who were forced to admit that they put glass and nails in the people's butter supply. It's true. And were plotting, it's true again, with the US, Britain, Israel and the Vatican to bring down international communism and make everybody in Russia speak Norwegian, for all I know. They were then shot, but their families were allowed to live, you see. Should this kid have refused to apologise? Well, yeah, he probably should in a perfect world, but he's young, he's vulnerable, he's scared, he's got a future to consider, and under the McGill equity policy, he could have been suspended, but he would have only lost his job as a student politician, not actually as a student. But it's all part of a greater, deeper, darker neurosis, and one I've mentioned many times in the past on this show. The cult of being offended. I'm offended, therefore I am. Defined not by what you are, but by how much you feel aggrieved. First, they came for conservatives and Christians, and we said nothing. Then they came for students, and we said nothing. Then they came for you, and there was nobody left to say anything at all. You will not control... Oh, you've buggered up the last few lines on the prompt. I've just had enough of this.
President Obama hosted a bipartisan meeting yesterday with leaders from both parties. And after the meeting, he told the press that things went well. But, you know, I don't think it went that well. You know, President Obama's body language is very subtle. And if you study it, well, here, he didn't look that pleased. Take a look. Watch the body
I appreciate
language.
the tenor of the conversations. I think it will actually yield results before the end of the year, and I look forward to continuing this dialogue in the months ahead. Thank you very much, everybody.
Good day, Andrew Mitchell.
It was funny. It was, which is quite unusual for that show, which is why there's a new host now. David Menzies is also a very funny fellow. There was nothing. That, on the Jay Leno show, there was nothing racist about it. Obama apparently thought it was very funny.
Yeah, and I mean, is this the ultimate in identity politics now, Michael?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, are we supposed to look at who we're targeting, who we're tweeting or writing about? So, for example, if President Obama is black, therefore...
Well, he is, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not an example. He is black.
No, but he's off limits. I can't say anything about Kathleen Wynne. She's lesbian, so she's off limits. Stephen Hawking, he's disabled. He's off limits. Is that really how we're going to have public discourse now?
Well, they have. Ricky Gervais is a very funny stand-up act, actually, about Stephen Hawking, and Kathleen Wynne's not a particularly amusing person, I suppose. But jokes have been made about Barack Obama. Jokes about race are rather stale and irritating. Some people make them. I don't find them very funny. This wasn't a joke. It wasn't about race. It was about a student being frustrated by the fact that he had to study. And he was simply saying, look, here's an example of being frustrated. There is not even at the wildest and weirdest connotation was there any connection with race.
Well, this is exactly it. I mean, I can't think of anything in pop culture which has a black man kicking a door in, and that is somehow some kind of racial commentary. But we are talking McGill here, Michael.
Oh, McGill's a good university.
Well, yeah, but, you know, it's, again, one of these universities that is being infected with political correctness, where the pro-life club, the student union there, voted to decertify. Well,
Did they at McGill?
That's McGill.
Yeah.
That's par for the course. You had a honorary degree given to Judith Butler. She's one of the leading figures in the international campaign to delegitimize Israel.
Yeah.
Of course, the only bastion of democracy and tolerance in the Middle East.
What about individual students, though? I mean, is this unprecedented? Have other students been victimized simply because they wanted to make a joke that had no politics or race connected?
Actually, I found an example of the precise opposite. There was a student taking in a conservative conference, and he started to say in Twitter that he feels he says, I should have brought an M16. I'm watching a Zionist/conservative propaganda film at a secret Zionist convention, in case anyone's confused. My blood is boiling. I want to shoot everyone in the room. Now, this is, remember, this is McGill University
That was
Montreal.
tweeted.
That's
more than 140 characters, though.
Well, no, it was and then he added, the jihad begins today. Oh, we better take action. Oh, wait a minute, we found out the student that was doing it, that was a Muslim student.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know,
But
that's how they blow off steam.
That is serious stuff. That's a direct call for violence. Nothing was done.
A direct call for violence, Michael, and this is in the same city where about 25 years ago we had the École Polytechnique massacre. We've had, you know, Columbine, we've had so many. We know that once these threats are made, you can't take it lightly. The Montreal police took it seriously, but the campus, you know, it was kind of the implication, well, you know what?
He was a student at McGill.
Yeah.
I would have expelled him for that. And anyone who says about another identifiable group, I want to kill you, I will kill you, you have no place on that campus.
Michael, do you think the faculty or the administration would have been that forgiving if that was just a white Christian student saying that about?
How much do you think, though, I mean, is this in any way typical? I don't know about this young man. He was a student politician. He may well be part of the same left-wing cult of the rest of them. I don't know. But the kids I meet at university, I've put, 3 kids through university now. They all have sensitive humor. Their friends have sensitive humor. They drink to excess. They have fun. They play. I mean, they don't seem to be that different from what I was like 1,000 years ago when I was at university.
I think what's changed, Michael, compared to when we went to university is this. It used to be this was such a cradle for debating, for lively...
You went to Ryerson, didn't you?
Well, yeah.
I'm joking.
It was starting to turn then, right? But it was sort of the circus sideshow, and now it's the main tent event. What I'm saying is you could get into a debate on anything, abortion, capital punishment, gun control, you name it, have a feisty debate, and then with your debating partner, go to the pub and have a beer and be friends. Now, you take the wrong, politically incorrect view of something, you're ostracized, and you see it over and over. Oh, come on! When it comes to like a pro-life club, you may as well say you want to start a neo-Nazi club.
It's such a tiny number of kids who make this happen as well. The vast majority are there to study hard or to live off mummy and daddy and have a good time. There's a tiny number who are political. And they make it bad for everybody else. It's regrettable.
You know, you're onto something here, because in Toronto, I guess the McGill equivalent would be York University, and you keep hearing these incredible debates in terms of political correctness. And I would grant you that 99% of the students, their biggest concern is catching the bus to be on class at time, what they're going to do for the, but there is this sideshow in the background. But Michael, regardless of what the numbers are, it's the principle. Free speech is under attack on campus, and this is the last place it should be under attack.
And once we lose our ability to be funny, to make jokes, to have a sense of humor, we're in deep trouble. Because I tell you one thing, really bad people don't laugh very much. Nazis weren't known for their sense of humor. George Orwell had a wonderful essay. He said, I'll end with this, he said that the reason that fascism could never succeed in Britain, he said, is when soldiers goose-step through Berlin, people cry with emotion. He said if they did that in London, they would fall about laughing. Thank you very much indeed.
I can never remember Osama bin Laden laughing either. Good point, Michael.